No, it's thank you. Um, this is our penultimate class. So next week we are going to bring our series to a close. And I'm just gonna ask everyone to make sure you stay on mute now so that there isn't background noise. Okay, great. So next week will be really the end of the musical, the epilogue, the confession. There are different names for those last songs, the wedding, the final words of Jean Valjean at the end of his life, and really coming full circle. And we'll talk about all of that next week. So today, because it's Pesach and we just want to enjoy and have a little bit of a holiday, so we are going to learn, I'm sure we're going to learn something, but I'm not presenting a source sheet. We are going to have a chance to listen to a couple of the songs that we haven't looked at. I promised Susan some Hebrew. I'm going to make good on that promise. So we're going to listen to a couple of the Les Mis songs be'ivrit, in Hebrew, and talk a little bit about the art of translation, which is really, really a challenge when it comes to something that rhymes, as anyone who's read poetry and translation may know. So that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to have fun together and enjoy our holiday. And unfortunately, some of the songs we're listening to are rather depressing, but I promise we'll end in an upbeat, hopeful, festive kind of way. But there are a couple songs we haven't looked at that we'll listen to today. So we're going to start with the song that was called Dog Eats Dog. And it really, I didn't do this as its own class because we really addressed this from the other side. So the dog eats dog world, as we know, is about everyone is out for themselves. Everyone is selfish, and it's about self-preservation. And that's a song that the innkeeper Thénardier sings toward the end of the musical. But instead, we looked at chesed and kindness and generosity, the way it's embodied in the life of Jean Valjean and in the people who have helped him, and then that he in turn helps and assists. So this is, I don't know, it's probably the darkest song in the musical, because it's not about tragedy, it's about immorality. It's about Thénardier. This is after the battle of the barricades, and people are dead in the streets, and he's actually going through the sewers and pulling off gold rings and gold teeth and stealing off of corpses. And it's the deepest antithesis of chesed and respect and kindness that we give to every human being, alive or dead. So this is the scene actually also that's tied up with what happens in the barricade battle, that Marius is injured, that we saw the song bring him home, that Jean Valjean is helping out at the barricade really to watch over Marius, because he discovers that Marius and Cosette are in love. And so he sees Marius is injured. He carries him home from the barricades and nurses him back to health. Of course, never telling Marius that it was he who brought him. So that's part of sort of the closing of all of these little loose ends that we'll do next week. But for now, we are going to watch from the 10th anniversary version, this song, Dog Eats Dog. It's not a pleasant song. Even musically, it's not a pleasant song. It's not supposed to be. The scene opens in the sewers, and you see these shadows of Jean Valjean carrying someone on his back, carrying Marius to safety. And so they're setting those two as opposites. Right, he is saving someone from near death, while the innkeeper is stealing from the dead. And we learn later, he comes upon Marius and Jean Valjean, thinks that they're one of these corpses. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go, and we will take a look at the Dog Eats Dog world. Okay.
Here's a head of gold stuck into a tooth. Pardon me, monsieur, you won't be needing it no more. shouldn't be too hard to sell. Add into the pile, add into the stock. Here among the sewer rats, a breath away from hell, you get accustomed to the smell. Well, someone's got to clean them up, my friends. Bodies on the highway, Lord and all, they're upside down. Someone's got to collect their odds and ends as a service to the town. Here's a tasty ring, pretty little thing. Wouldn't want to waste it, that would really be a crime. Thank you, sir, I'm in your debt. Here's a little toy, take it off the boy. His heart's no longer going, and he's lived his little time, but his watch is ticking yet. Well, someone's got to clean them up, my friends, before the little harvest disappears into the mud. Someone's got to collect their odds and ends when the gutters run with blood. It's a world where the dogs eat the dogs, where they kill for the bones in the street, and God in his heaven, he don't interfere, 'cause he's dead as the snips at me feet. I raise my eyes to see the heavens, and only the moon looks down. The harvest moon shines
So I don't know if you noticed, there's some irony there in the way he talks about, I'm doing this as a service to the town, and wasting this would be a crime. So it's playing with this faux generosity. Of course, it's the opposite. And he mentions, these things are going to go to waste. So it does leave a little bit of kind of a gray area. Who's he stealing from anyway? And it made me think of actually this idea in halacha, which is hefker. When something is hefker, something is ownerless, it means it doesn't belong to anyone. It's fair game. If you find something on the street that doesn't have a name on it or can't be identified in some way, you can keep it because it doesn't have a designated owner. It's actually what we say in our liturgy on Erev Pesach when we want to get rid of our chametz. We say any chametz that I own is now hefker. It's ownerless, like the dust of the earth. So it's not mine. Even if it's in my closet, I've sold it or I've made it ownerless, and I'm not going to look at it for 8 days. Anyway, so I just that popped out at me, and of course also he talks about God in his heavens. He don't interfere because he's dead as the stiffs at my feet. So again, a foil to the Jean Valjean sees God everywhere, sees God's presence after his initial sort of conversion by the priest. He sees God's guidance and he prays to God. And this is exactly the opposite. So that's the dog eats dog. And we're going to move on to another really heartbreaking song. So Marius is saved. He's been nursed back to health. He's with Cosette. They know a stranger saved him that night at the barricade. And he goes and revisits the tavern where he had been hanging out and drinking with his buddies, the night before they all died. Remember, basically everyone in this movie is killed except for Marius and Cosette. And so there's this song, Empty Chairs at Empty Tables, which it's very haunting. It's very sad. It's a very difficult song. And he asks the hard questions, the questions that a survivor might ask. This is a classic survivor's guilt. Why am I here and you're gone? Why do I live? What was your sacrifice for anyway? It's a coming of age moment in some ways for him, because he's in the same place where they had been so passionate and so youthful, and now he's the only one who survived. So I'm going to play it in two different ways. I'm going to play first the scene in the musical. I'm sorry, the scene in the film. And then I'm going to play it in Hebrew. I think it's very poignant in Hebrew. When I saw this young man singing it in Hebrew, it just made me think about all the young men and women who lost friends in battle in Israel. So it's a very real kind of scene. So here we go, watching the film version. The film version is incredible. It's incredibly well done, incredibly well acted. This is Eddie Redmayne, is the young man who plays Marius. And he gets really emotional. I remember reading about the filming of this scene and how he had to do it several times, and how each time he got deeper and deeper and deeper into the emotion until this was like the final take. You'll see. So, empty chairs at empty tables.
There's a grief that can't be spoken. There's a pain that goes on and on. Empty chairs at empty tables. Now my friends are dead and gone. Here they talked of revolution. Here it was they lit the flame. Here they sang about tomorrow, and tomorrow never came. From the table in the corner, they could see a world reborn, and they rose with voices ringing, and I can hear them now, the very words that they have sung became their last communion. On this lonely barricade, the door. Oh, my friends, forgive me that I live and you are gone. There's a grief that can't be spoken. There's a pain goes on and on. Phantom faces at the windows, phantom shadows on the floor, empty chairs at empty tables where my friends will meet no more. Oh, my friends, don't ask me what your sacrifice was for. Empty chairs at empty tables where my friends will sing no more.
When he says phantom faces at the window, those of you who have seen it live, you may remember that they have the actors who play all the students. They're lined up behind him. They walk forward, right? Pearl is nodding behind him. He never sees them, but then they walk back, all those actors. But what they do here in the film that I find so effective is they start it without any musical accompaniment. It's just him singing, and then the music comes in slowly. It's heartbreaking, and he says, "Forgive me that I live and you are gone." Right? It's as if he feels like he needs to apologize. That's the survivor's guilt that we're talking about. I want to show you the lyrics in Hebrew first, and then we'll listen. Maybe we won't listen to the whole thing. I don't know. We'll see. But here are the lyrics. Wait just a moment. I might have just lost track of it on my screen. Here we go. I found it. Too many windows. So in Hebrew, it's called Shulchanot Rekim, which means empty tables. So as I mentioned, it's not a direct translation, but you need to be thinking about meter. I'm going to share with you an article in a moment that talks about this a little bit more. But Shulchanot Rekim Ya'idu, I'm looking at the third line here, that's the refrain. Empty tables Ya'idu, from the word aid, witness, bear witness. Chaverai metim kulam. Chaverai, my friends, metim kulam, are all dead. Kan dibruhem al hamered, it's exactly the meter. Kan dibruhem al hamered. Kan hutztaha lehava, the flame was ignited. Kan zimru al or hashachar, they sang about tomorrow is in the English, but here they sang about the light of dawn, or hashachar shakiba, but the light of dawn was extinguished. And in the English, here they sang about tomorrow, but tomorrow never came. And it doesn't have, the English, it's from the table in the corner, they can see a world reborn. So here it's kan pikhu et ha'enayim, they opened their eyes. Vera'u olam nolad, they saw a world reborn. And to my ears, their voice is a melody similar, but that melody is, I can hear them now, the words that they had sung. So here it's the melody that they had sung. Itnagen la'ad, replaying in my mind over and over. V'hamilim asher zimru, the words that they sang were left behind. Ketzava'a, like a will. Hotiru. So in the English, in the original, it's the words that they had sung became their last communion. So of course that's a Christian reference. So here it's not communion, but it's tzava'a, a will. Someone's will is letzavot, what they command, what they leave behind at the lonely barricade. So that's very similar. I guess I'm gonna play it. Chaverim tovim silchuli. It's the same idea. Forgive me, she'ani adayin chai, that I'm still alive. Hatuga hazot ilemet. There's a grief that can't be spoken, right? This sorrow is ilem, is mute. There's a pain goes on and on. Ha'ke'ev betoch or kai. So it has to rhyme with chai. So the pain in my veins. Ruach, the ghost, Rafa'im badelet. Panei hametim b'chalonot, the dead at the windows. Shulchanot rekim, this is the reference. Empty chairs at empty tables. It's empty tables. Yar'idu will quiver. Et zochrei hazichronot, the memories, those who dare to remember. Yeah, I guess just the last line here, Shulchanot Rekim Ya'idu Shela'ad Ibed Kolchem. Your Kohl, your voice, is gone forever, is lost forever. So here's the Hebrew being sung. Here we go. Shulchanot Rekim. I know that the sound isn't always best. I'm trying to keep it at the highest volume. Someone was asking about the sound, but at some point I don't have control over, the way something is recorded or aired. Okay.
התוגה הזאת אילמת, הכאב זורם בדם, שולחנות ריקים יעידו, חבריי מתים כולם. כאן דיברו הם על המרד, כאן הוצתה להבה, כאן זיהו על אור השחר, אור השחר שקבע. כאן פקחו את העיניים וראו עולם נולד, באוזניי קולם כמו זמר, הוא התנגן לעד, והמילים אשר זימו כצבע הותירו ממתרס בודד אשר עבד. חברים טובים סלחו לי שאני עדיין חי, התוגה הזאת אילמת, הכאב בתוך אורכיי, רוח רפאים בדלת, פני המתים בחלונות, שולחנות ריקים ירעידו את זוכרי הזיכרונות. חברים אמרו הגידו, מה הצמיח חורבנכם, שולחנות ריקים יעידו שלעד עבד קולכם.
All right, we're going to dig ourselves out of this, I promise. So, some words about translation. It's a beautiful song, even if it's a sad song. It's a beautiful song, and the question of how to translate without losing the feeling of the song is a great challenge. So I'm going to share with you. First, I'm going to put a link in the chat so that you can open it on your own if you choose to, and then I'll share my screen. This is an article that actually I have to thank Rabbi Eric Grossman, who forwarded it on to me recently. Here, I'll share it. One moment. It was moving. It was a moving piece. So this is a tribute to Ehud Manor, who was a famous Israeli writer, lyricist. So he wrote the words to Bashana Haba'ah, for example. Bashana Haba'ah. It's written by the author has a name. Here we go, Ellie Sachs. Who talks about the influence that Ehud Manor had on him as a young man, hearing him speak. But I want to focus in on the way he describes Ehud Manor's kind of decision making in how to translate. I'm sorry about all these pop-ups and ads. I guess I could have shared this a little bit differently, but this is how we're looking at it, just like you would on the website. So here we go. Ehud Manor explained to us the technique he employed in his translations. I guess I should mention he translated Les Mis. He translated Les Misérables into Hebrew. To capture the lyricism of a song written in a different language, he would first look for words in Hebrew containing the same sounds and meter and proximate meaning of the original. Capturing the lyricism was paramount and more important than duplicating the literal meaning of the original text. So here's an example from Les Mis, and you're going to see exactly what he's talking about. So as an example, he noted his translation of the song Bring Him Home from Les Misérables. The original Alain Boublil lyric begins with the words God on high, right? God on high, hear my prayer, and concludes with the phrase bring him home. Manor's translation begins with Elohai. See, God on high becomes Elohai. So that's not an exact translation. If you were translating God on high, you would say Elohim Bashamayim, something like that. But God on high becomes Elohai. And concluding, instead of bring him, Chniso to Abaita or something, bring him home, it's Beshalom, the same sound. And that word is about finding peace. So that was far from a literal translation, but as a lyric, it was extremely effective and deeply moving. In my opinion, the translated Hebrew version surpasses the original. So we're going to listen to that. And then, he talks about, well, you can read this on your own in the link that I sent if you'd like to. But the debt that he owes Ehud Manor is this sort of aha moment that you can translate a poem or a song by paying attention to lyricism and meter rather than actually direct translation. So this was being written just recently on his Yortzeit, passed away 17 years ago, April 12th. And this was a tribute to this brilliant insight that changed the way at least this one young man thought. So we're going to listen to God on High, or Elohai. And it's not the fanciest recording. It's a guy sitting in a studio setting, and it's clearly in some kind of public building because it's very sweet. I noticed this just on the second time that I had watched it. There's a young woman who walks by, a chayela. It's like she's in her army uniform, and then she stops and she hears and she stands there listening, and then she's with her friend, another chayal, another soldier, and they're listening, and then they're talking to each other, and then they're listening. I just felt so Israel in a very sweet way. You're just recording this remarkable music, and someone walks by and decides to stop in and listen, and then stops listening halfway through. So I felt like if we were listening to such a sad, although moving song, we should also listen to a moving song that was hopeful. And this one certainly is. So this is Bring Him Home. And to refresh your memories, this is what Jean Valjean is singing before the battle at the barricade, before Marius is injured. They're settling down for the night, and he's sort of gazing on Marius and feeling these parental feelings toward him. He's like the son I might have known. And he's praying to God. He's praying to God for the welfare of this young man. So enjoy it.
גורלו בידיך אלי, ושמו דרכו עד ישוב אל ביתו בשלום, בשלום, בשלום. לו אלוהים היה נותן, אז הוא הבן שלי עוד קיץ תם מול עיניי, חלפו אי שם כל שנותיי, וסוף ימיי קרב אליי. תן לו זמן, הוא צעיר, הוא רק ילד קטן, אלוהי, אלוהי במרומים. תן לו יד, תן חיים, קח אותי, שלח אותו אל ביתו בשלום, בשלום, בשלום.
בראבו, בראבו.
Bravo, bravo. Did you catch some of those words? Hutzair, he is young. Shmo darko, ad yashuv el beto. So protect his way, protect him until he returns el beto. And then bishalom becomes the refrain. Bishalom, 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 with peace, with peace, with peace. And at the end there he said, Kach oti, take me, shlach oto, send him el beto, to his home. Bishalom, bishalom, bishalom. So I'm going to pause here and just ask around the room if there's any comment you want to make. It's just beautiful. I find it very touching in the Hebrew, very moving. And I've listened to this over and over and over again. But, you know, when you have an emotional connection to a certain language, as I do to Hebrew, as I know many of us do, it sounds different. It feels as home. It feels like it's ours in a different way. David?
Well, as a former translator, I have to tell you, I would never, ever attempt this. And it's a God-given gift if somebody can do it. It is really like somebody who can sing in tune and somebody who cannot sing in tune. You know, it comes with the body. You either have it or you don't have it. It's extremely difficult. I could never even attempt it. It's a gift. I've known people who can do this. And it's really a natural gift. You either have it or you don't have it.
And you know people who do this, I guess, French to English, or
well, English to French.
Right, English to French.
I don't think I've known anybody. I've only known one person who can really do this as an art.
But you're right, it is an art. It's a completely different skill than translating a speech.
Yes, absolutely.
Else.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, remarkable.
Yeah. He had a wonderful voice too, a fantastic voice. Yeah. That control of the high notes was fantastic.
Yeah, very difficult. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll still say he's no Kohl Wilkinson, but that's my personal bias. But yeah, he did. It's a very difficult song to sing. It's up. I mean, it's a very high register, and then those long notes, and then to bring in the emotion effectively, and it's interesting because I remember when we listened to it in English, and it's if I die, let me die, let him live, bring him home. Right, that's the English. If I die, let me die, let him live, bring him home. But when he said kach oti in Hebrew, kach oti is like take me. Not the same as let me die. It's like it's stronger. Kach oti shlach oto. Send him away from here, home. El beito. That really struck me. That the Hebrew to me was even stronger, was even more. Susan, you're nodding. You have to unmute yourself if you want to say what you're thinking.
So, yeah, I'm nodding because it's so realistic to the country. It's,
right.
I mean, I think every mother and every wife who says goodbye to their beloved goes through that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it comes naturally. It comes so easily in that culture, I guess, these songs.
Yeah.
I feel like this should have been our Yom HaAtzmaut, Yom HaZikaron program now.
Yes.
Getting ahead of ourselves. Gloria, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say, wasn't it a beautiful irony to have the soldiers at the window, which is like empty chairs and empty tables, the being in the background, approaching and maybe not really being there. Anyway, it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. Thank you.
So I'm going to switch gears for the end of our class because we're talking about languages, and I know I have played this for you before, but I couldn't not play Do You Hear the People Sing with the 17 different Jean Valjeans and from different countries. And especially on Pesach, this song is about being free. This is about overthrowing oppression. This is the rallying cry of this whole musical. It's the march, right? Do, 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 and it comes back again and again. So when we're thinking about the universal appeal of this musical, the way it has been successful in on every continent in so many languages, this song is the epitome for me. And I think it also speaks to these themes that we discuss on Pesach, which are also so universal. The Seder has such staying power, and the story that we tell of the Exodus from Egypt, speaks to so many different cultures, because this is a universal urge to find justice, to rescue those who are oppressed, to overthrow tyranny. All of these things, unfortunately, are still relevant today as ever before. I don't have to tell you. And so I guess my hope is that listening to this song will give us some sense of empowerment and joy on this festival of freedom. So that's what I'm going to play for you. I'm going to play Do You Hear the People Sing with 17 Jean Valjeans. Has anyone seen Les Mis in any other language besides English? I'm just curious. No? Okay. In Hebrew, it's called Aluvei Chaim. It's like miserable people of life. Aluvei Chaim. At least it has the word life in it. But I've never seen it in Hebrew. I know that some people go to those summer camps where they do all their musicals in Ivrit, like Camp Ramad does that and so on. But I don't know if they ever did Les Mis. Probably too long for a summer camp production. All right, here we go. So this is this wonderful, wonderful excerpt with, as it says down here, Valjeans from 17 countries in 12 languages. So the reason it's 17 countries but 12 languages is because you've got England, you've got Ireland, you've got Canada, you've got the United States, but Nebuch, they're all English. So here we go. Let's give a listen to just some of the Jean Valjeans from around the world.
Do you hear the people singing the song of angry men?
It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of a drum, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes.
À la volonté du peuple et à la santé du progrès.
Das ist die Symphonie von Menschen, die nicht länger Sklaven sind.
あなたに熱い命が始まる。明日が来た時そうさすが。
Sem elég, hogyha kell, kiállsz értünk sarcunk ért.
Ifrån vår barrikad så kan man se ett framtidsland. Så kom med och slåss, du ska kämpa med oss om du kan.
By też słuch to śpiewa lud, co nie chce żyć w niewoli znów.
Van al die mensen die verdommen om nog langer slaaf te zijn. When the beating echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes. Wenn du kämpfst mit ganzer Kraft, hat bald ein Ende alle Not.
Some will fall and some will leave. Will you stand up and take your chance? The blood of the mothers will water the meadows of France.
Kan du höra folkets sång, det är en sång från marken där. Sätta din krig, du slave vid i oss, i bjälk i sväveri. Och i tommet Thomas Bullsland, så stärker hjärtats väg. Jag ska dig till och liva ur den nya här. Will you fight in our crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me?
Andliga skänker färda samma frälsdom aldrig vilja mig.
Do you hear the people sing? Say, do you hear the distant drums? It is the future that they bring when tomorrow comes.
Sorry, I think this is just an ad. It's not finished. I apologize. This is what happens when you get things off of YouTube. Okay, so it seems that the version I pulled stopped right there. Oh, should we just watch this for fun? Okay, I'm feeling bad that we cut this off and then YouTube gave me another video, which is a Les Mis flash mob in a mall. And I don't know, it's a holiday. Let's have fun and watch this one together. Is that okay? Just give me a nod. Okay, thank you. I don't know if everyone knows this term flash mob. If you don't, it's basically people who have kind of planted themselves in a public space and then will just kind of break out in song and dance, which will seem spontaneous, but really was very planned. So what happens is when I Google one of these songs, I usually use the full length version of that 10th anniversary play, but I found this version that was just the 17 Jean Valjeans, and I thought it was cool that it had the lyrics printed up on the screen, so I used it instead of the full version. But now I'm seeing that it was a clip that sliced up the song right there in the middle. So instead, now we have a flash mob coming up. Let's see what this is. Let's watch this together, and then we'll call it a day. Okay. One day more.
One day more, another day, another destiny. This never-ending road to Calvary. These men who seem to know my crime will surely come a second time. One day more. Did not live until today. How can I live when we are parted? One day more. Tomorrow you'll be worlds away, and yet with you my world has started.
Wonderful. I don't know if you noticed, the idea is that when they're finished, they just walk off like with their shopping bags back into the mall as if nothing happened. Oh my gosh. All right.
I've seen flash mobs in opera in markets, indoor markets. You know, your fishmonger comes out and he starts to sing, and the butcher comes. They're amazing, these flash mobs.
Amazing. Did you
I have-
notice the
I have a
woman in the
question.
workout clothes?
Yeah, she's wearing
Yeah, those,
those rollerblades.
yeah. Amazing.
Rollerblades. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there a conductor to these things? How
I
do
was
they
thinking actually the same thing. I was thinking, is there somebody in a
behind the camera?
area or something behind just, but what they're doing is they're taking little snippets from different, there was like the security camera footage, there was someone's phone footage. There must be people planted all around taking the footage, but I don't know. There has to be someone.
But
There-
you can YouTube flash mobs of just about every opera.
Yeah.
And all the plays, and it's a good ad for, you know, for people to go to see the plays, because these people probably are understudies or members of the cast who are
Yeah.
singing. They're not just ordinary singers.
Mhm. Yep. Yep. So that was fun. So we got a little one day more also. Okay, one class more. One class more. I still haven't decided exactly what's going to happen after the one class. So I probably will need a break. I'll take a week off, and then I'll let you know if I'll do some kind of a mini series or what I'll do to take us to the summer. But for now, next week we will come back here, same Zoom, same time. We will say goodbye to Les Mis together. We shouldn't say goodbye. We'll say Lehitraot. I'm sure we'll see it again. But in the meantime, have a Chag Kasher v'Sameach. I hope to see some of you in synagogue this weekend, and stay well and enjoy our spring that's fighting really hard to come through.